Welcome back, guys. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these videos. I've been pretty busy with school. If you haven't been keeping up with my personal life or the YouTube comments, I started pharmacy school a couple weeks ago. It's 10 courses concurrently. It's 18 hours a semester. It's an absolute bear. So I've been trying to do that, but I got a lull in the schedule, and I'm going to try and put up a couple more videos. I am going to try and stick to doing 2 or 3 a week from here on out. And I've said that before, and it's been untrue, but I am going to try and stick to it. I think a big part of the reason I wasn't making videos is because I knew the one I had to make next was this game, and this game in particular makes me unhappy for a variety of reasons. I don't want to spoil anything. You'll see it soon. But I'm playing Josh Sokol in round 13. Josh has been having himself a hell of a tournament, and I know this game's going to be pretty important towards the outcome of the tournament. Before I get any further underway, though, I do want to give a quick shout out to Gary S. Gary S. thought my videos were so awesome that he decided to give me some money, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, Gary. You are my #1 fan now, says me. I get to decide who my #1 fan is. Thank you, for real. Thank you for doing that. So Josh opens Hazy. My first rack is DEPSTUV. This is actually pretty interesting. We've got some good plays available to us. We've got, we're going to get rid of these duvets right now. Those are crazy. We're not going to play tup when we can play dup in the same spot. I should have run the sim a little bit more before I decided to cut options. But I've been having some issues getting Quackle to do this correctly, so I decided to do that. We'll take out all of this garbage here. Let me pause it. I thought I did pause it. Take out this garbage. Take out all this garbage here. There's really 5 pretty interesting plays I can make right now. I think Putz is okay, or maybe Putz, they're kind of similar. But Pud or Dup would be your standard options. And then there's exchanging 1 or playing VAU here. So I'm just going to let it run for a little bit with those. I already know the answers. I did this a couple minutes ago. But typically, okay, Dup or Pud look like your standard plays, and why would you ever score 16 with Pud if you can score 17 with the same letters in the same spot with Dup? Well, the answer is, well, Pud sets up that front S for Spud, and I have an S, so that's kind of powerful. Now, Quackle's not the best at telling us what to do between Pud and Dup, because Josh is a human, Quackle is a dumb robot. And Josh is smart enough to realize, wait, he played Pud when he had Dup in the same spot for 1 more point. Obviously, he has an S. And Josh, with that knowledge that I have an S, can do some stuff. He can maybe try and obstruct the spot, although there's not a ton you can do about that without giving quite a bit up. He also just has a knowledge going down the road. If I don't end up cashing the S this turn, he knows. Whereas Quackle is a stupid robot that doesn't know anything. But really interesting to me is that Va actually ends up winning this sim, VAU there, for 6. That is a gutsy play. It takes some real cojones to play Va for 6 when you've got 16 or 17 or 20 available, and those are still pretty good defensive options. So I thought that was shocking, but if you take a peek over at the details over there, you can see after VAU, Josh is scoring 20 or 21 on average, which is pretty devastating. It's a great defensive play if Josh doesn't have an S. I don't think I have the cojones to play that ever. I do think I should have played Pud here instead of Dup, and I wish I could have that back for that reason. But alas, such is life. I played Dup, and we'll see where that takes me. Josh ends up playing MA right here for 24, and I pull AEESTV. Looks good so far, and then there's a Q in there. It's over there. So this is a really interesting turn. I think this is a pretty educational turn for a lot of people at home. What would you do, right? Well, I want to get rid of the Q. I might play QATS. Like, you could do that. It sets up the QI spot for a ton of points for an overlap. What else, right? If you look at what Quackle suggests, like, a lot of it's hot garbage. Let's open the board. Why? Why would you open the board? You're at an advantage when the board is closed and you have an S. So Eves, that's a terrible play. Never play Eves, or really any of this garbage in here. Just don't do that. Maybe play the Q if you really want to. Sev looks really nice. It's still just nice and tight and closed. And then other than that, like, just don't go. You have a Q and a V. Get rid of the Q and the V. So I'm going to let it run between those 4 options there. And You can see QATS is just getting destroyed in the sim, right? You don't want to give up that I overlap and open the board. You can see how much Josh scores more after QATS than after either of the other two options. So even though you're not opening the board too aggressively, you're still just giving Josh way more points than he needs. And simultaneously, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You can see how little you score after QATS. So it seems best probably to just keep stuff small here. Sev is fine. I just don't want to get caught up with a Q on a closed board. If Josh opens the board, I want to make him pay, and I'd want to make Josh feel pretty uncomfortable opening the board. So I just decided to exchange 3, and you can see that Quackle actually agrees. Yeah, just throw it back, don't open the board, we're good. So that's what I do. Josh just drops an E right here for 10, so Josh smartly is not going to open the board either. And some experts are pretty bad on closed boards. Josh is not one of them. Josh knows what to do and how to deal with these situations a lot better than most experts, but still, just because he knows how to play closed doesn't mean I'm going to avoid a closed board against him. This is a fun turn, another teaching turn. Obviously, I'm going to go play right there in the J column somewhere, but what do I do? Do I play Pat? Do I play Pa? Do I play Pate? Do I cash in the S and play Spate or something like that? There's a lot of interesting options here. So I'll run a quick sim on that for you while you try and decide which one you would play. But to me, this was a real no-brainer between just 2 options. There's Spate, which is terrible in my opinion. Yes, the conventional knowledge says, well, the S is worth like 8 or 9 points, right? So Pate scores 30, Spate scores 39. I'm getting 9 for my S. I should do it, right? No, you absolutely shouldn't in either spot. The S is great on this closed board. You've got Spam, you've got Pams, or after you make some play over here, you have Zaps. So no, hold the S, absolutely, especially with the bingo-prone stuff. S helps you bingo. It's a good bingo tile as well. So you should never, ever, ever play Spate in this situation. Pate, why would you string an E out there? And Pate takes like a bazillion hooks, too. You can see Pate takes the D, the R, the S, and even an N, Payton. So yeah, it takes all kinds of stuff. And you just don't want to do that either. Plus the E he can bingo through, just don't do it. So it really comes down to 2 choices, Pa and Pat. And what I decided in this situation over the board, and the sim actually backs me up on this, so that's great, is with Pa, I'll probably bingo just a little bit more often. AESTT, you don't want the duplicates in there, but it's fine to bingo with. And with Pat, I'll bingo a little bit less often, but I'll probably score more on often. With Pa, if I don't bingo, I've probably got a bunch of 1-pointers. And with Pat, if I don't bingo, well, the chances I picked up something that scores is higher, right? Plus, even if I do get a bingo, the bingos after Pat are probably going to score a little bit more than the bingos after Pa. So I had correctly deduced, yeah, like Pa is kind of my less volatile option. I'll bingo a little bit more, score a little bit less, which is kind of paradoxical that seems the less volatile option, but that's how it was. So I decided to play Pa. These sim neck and neck. I ran this sim a couple minutes ago, and Pa was on top. Now Pat is on top. I bet if we let it go to 100,000 iterations, they'd still be within about a half a point or so. Yeah, you can see they just caught up almost. So I played Pa. You could probably go either way on that one, depending on what kind of player you are. I like being closed, so I kept it closed. Josh drops the letter N right there for 7 points. That was super weird. But that's what he decided to do, and I kept AESTT, trying to bingo, right? Trying to be a little bit more aggressive towards drawing a bingo, and I picked up EO. That's not going to bingo at all. Now over the board, I'm pretty sure I saw this play here, Zapateo. I'm not 100% sure I did. I can't remember. It's been 2 months since I played this game, but I'm pretty sure I did. And aside from Zapateo, I've got 2 other options. There's Toe and Toea. And I just decided, Josh is probably not fishing for 7 on a dead board unless he has an S, because you're not getting a bingo down on this board unless you have an S or maybe an ED for that spot right there. So I'm like, Josh almost, most of the time he's got an S. I don't want to play Zapateo when he's bingo prone, fishing, dinking around, and he's got an S. That's crazy. So I decided to play just Toe. I decided to leave the A off. It sets up more hooks for Josh to bingo, but it also increases my chances of bingoing a little bit more. I think you could choose either one of those plays and be fine in this situation. I just think Zapateo, with the inference I've got, is not the right thing to do. Apparently my inference was wrong because Josh bingoes without an S, so Zapateo would have been a fantastic thing to do. But alas, live and learn. I pick up AEEFNST, and because Josh chose to play Aeronite there instead of Retinue, I've got the 94-point Fastener, so that's fantastic. And Josh is mad at himself. He's muttering, oh, why didn't I play Retinue? It's better to play Retinue there. Why wouldn't I do this? So it's good to get in your opponent's head. And then I got in his head a little bit more. Before Josh makes this play, I overdrew, and Josh overturned FVW. So he knows I've got hot garbage on my rack. I don't know how that impacted his decision-making, but it was interesting, to say the least. You know, FVW on the overdraw. So he puts that down. He puts the W back. And I draw AFLMOVW. So that's what was hiding behind my FVW. ALMOQ. And this is a weird turn. There's really only about 3 plays that make any sense. And that's Foam, Flam, and Aloft. If I could go back and do this turn again, I would do it very differently. In fact, I was surprised when I was quackling this game getting ready for the video that I chose to play Aloft. And it's just like, oh yeah, you don't want to open for 34 when you're holding a bunch of junk, but like you have to, right? And no, I decided to keep a much worse leave. I decided to hold QMV instead of QLV or QOV. Now, it's all garbage, but I was like, I don't want to open the board here. But by opening the board and moving over to that triple word square, you're also closing the board a lot, right? The most important thing on this board right now is the toe hook. There's D, there's A, there's S, and there's some more fun stuff in Collins. I won't get into that. But no, like, I want to do something about that. And yeah, sure, there's an outside chance he triples maybe. Who cares? Like, I need to do something about toe, I think. I don't know why I played Aloft. I wish I could play Foam instead. But alas, it's what I did. So Aloft comes down. I don't like that play. Current Matt dislikes Matt from 2 months ago for making that choice, but whatever. Josh comes back with Box, too, and I hated Aloft before I saw Josh come back with Box. I completely forgotten this game. I just remembered it was painful. So that's another reason to hate Aloft. You know, hindsight bias is never really a thing you should use to analyze your games, but at the same time, like, I deserve that for making a bad play. So I kept QMV, remember that, MQV, and I picked up EIIU. Can you believe that? EIIU. That's like one of the only racks, only draws that stops me from having to exchange this turn. And even though the Scrabble tile gods have gifted me, I'm going to give it right back. The best play here is Vim. And it's just so hard when you have a Q, you're like, I'm going to get rid of the Q. I'm going to get rid of the Q. And no, it's actually better to keep the Q here. If you look at the details, I lost my details. But if you look at the details, we're going to bingo a lot more often after Vim than we are after Choir. So holding the Q is not a death sentence. It doesn't stop you from bingoing ever. It's actually fine. I should play Vim. I didn't even think about it. I just played the Q because I could, because it was there. And I wish I could have that back. I know I used to do a lot of analysis of my games, and I made more mistakes when I had the Q on my rack than like in any other situation. I get blinded. I've got to get rid of the Q. I have to play off the Q. And I thought I worked on it, but apparently I didn't work on it enough. So alas, another mistake. I play Choir, and I'm just not good at Scrabble. But that's why this series is called ICANT, right? Because I choked away a national championship because I'm not good enough. I should have won, I think, with the tiles I drew. Josh plays Go right there. Can mean a lot of stuff for me. I have ADILMSV. And this turn is super interesting. There's 3 good options that all do completely different things. And they're right here. So there's Vid, Vised, and Vims, right? And you can probably tell just from looking at them. I hope you can if you've got good Scrabble sense, but you can tell what they do, right? Vid says, I'm playing offense. That toe hook is dangling there. I'm keeping an A. I'm keeping an S. I'm opening this annoying spot next to the triple that you're probably going to have to play on for not very much. And I'm trying to bingo. I'm playing offense. Vised is exactly the opposite, right? Vised is like, I am just going to butcher the board right here. You are not going to bingo. Look at those details. Oh, is it frozen on you? It is frozen. Let's get that fixed. Let's get those. Where are the details at? I think I fixed it. Sorry about this. This is you can tell I'm sloppy. I haven't done this in a while, right? There's the details. Sorry if I've been referring to them and they've been broken all game. There's the details, right? But you can see after Vised, Josh is bingoing like 2% of the time because I've just butchered the board. Now, my bingo chances also go down, but hey, after Vised, I'm up by 2. It's not a 50-50 game. It's his turn. There's 2 unseen blanks, but, you know, to be 35-40 or 35 or 40% chance to win, that's not bad given the start I've had to this game, or so I feel, some of the draws I've had, some of the mistakes I've made. So Vised I don't think is the worst thing either. And then Vims is kind of a happy medium. It's like, I'm going to score some now. I'm not going to close up the board too much, but like, you know, I'm not shelling out like Vid. Like, I'm not aggressively trying to bingo now and launch myself back into this game. In hindsight, I'm playing Vised every time. Like, I think I didn't see it over the board. But these are the types of plays I love to make. And even though Josh isn't so exploitable, there are many people out there who would just die after you play Vised. They can't play a board that closed. I played Vims. That's what I decided to do. I usually don't think to just like score very little and play offense all the time. I played Vims. I'd love to go back and play Vised and just see how the game ends. You know, it'd be a fun one, even if nothing else exciting happens. Josh drops JUN up here for 20. And I'm going to make one of the worst plays of my life here, if you don't mind. ABDIHLT. I got another I in there. ABDIHLT. So this is sad. I really want to do something about toe. Josh has just fished with go and then Jun. I don't know if that's fishing or if that's, you know, just I'm playing these because I have to or what, but I'm worried. There's 2 unseen blanks. Josh has been dropping 2 tiles a turn. Like, whatever. I want to do something about toe, and I don't really see a good play that makes toad, you know, because everything is just going to take a back S. So then I saw this play here, BAITH, and that, you know, reasonably deals with the spot. Josh can still bingo ending in, like, vowel S or a single vowel or a Y, but it's a lot harder to bingo after this. Except then I start thinking, crap, I don't remember the hooks on this. Does it take a back E? Does it take a back S? Does it take both of them? Does it take neither? I couldn't remember. And, like, when you're playing a word that sets up a spot that big, like, you need to know the hooks on it, right? Especially when you've got a bunch of other options in the same spot that score comparably and keep comparably. So I decided to pass on playing Baith. I would love to go back and do that. By the way, Baith means both. It's one of those like annoying Irish words or something. It takes no hooks. But both, I believe, takes 2 hooks, right? B-O-T-H. Oh, no, it just takes the Y. Okay. Well, both is a word. Instead, I decided to play B-A-H-T. And I'm like, all right, there. I know the hooks on that one. It doesn't take any hooks. Except I'm totally wrong. B-A-H-T does take a hook. I got it confused because B-A-H doesn't take a hook. And B-A-N-I, which is another common 3 to make 4, doesn't take a hook. But B-A-H-T totally does. So I'm trying to play defense, and instead I just open bingo lines with 2 unseen S's and 2 unseen blanks. Just one of the worst plays of my life. I really should play B-A-I-T-H or something of the sort here, and I'm just unable to do it because, well, I can't. Name of the series, right? Bot comes down. I deserve to get punished here, and, punished I get. Not this turn, but soon. Josh plays third for 20. I have D-I-L-L-O-S-S. Not totally sure what to do here, but with 2 unseen blanks, I think, you know, any of these plays are bad, and I really just want to play draw, hold the S's, and knock out the triple-triple spot. And Josh comes down with incurve. So this is the worst thing you could possibly see in this situation. There's 2 blanks in the bag. You have neither, and your opponent bingos with neither. You know, I'd rather him just bingo with both so that I don't have to worry about him drawing one. And then, like, I don't know what's happened. I think my brain has just exploded. I remember I'm still kind of on tilt because of the previous game against Joey Malik where I blew it by playing Baroque. And then, like, some weird stuff has happened in this one. I have AEIIRSS. I'm pretty sure bot doesn't take an S. In fact, I'm absolutely certain it doesn't because otherwise it's a terrible play to make. So I'm like, you know what? I've got to score some points now because Josh might get a bunch of points here. I've got to open a bingo line for myself and just, like, pray at this point. So I decided to play raise over here. Raise, R-A-I-S-E is how you spell that. And just a weird, funny-looking play, but it's like I've got to set up that R and try and bingo to it. I've got to play a bunch of tiles. Like I'm operating under the assumption that Josh can't have the blanks. If he has the blanks, I lose no matter what. So I'm just going to play 5, try and get a blank or 2, maybe hit something down to that L after he blocks the R. And, like, no, there are so many good things I can do right now, and I just didn't do any of them because I am bad. You know, if I can just make, like, an aggressive little, like, IS or AIS or something over here, like, that's really threatening. Josh has to deal with that, and then I can bingo with bots on the bottom, but I don't think bots is a word, and I'm just in my own head. I can't spell raise today, jeez. I played raise. I'm just the worst. There's nothing else really to say about that. Josh draws AINOR blank blank out of the bag. If you are unable to bingo out of that, you deserve to be, well, smacked. Josh was able to bingo out of that. Urinator is going to come down for 71, and the game is pretty much over at this point. GGIOSUW. Like, thank you for the WUG Scrabble. I guess I deserve it because I played so bad here. I just dropped word there. And then, like, this is just freaking annoying. Josh has, CDELOWY, and he plays this right here, Cluis, which isn't a word. And it's like, dude, you just bingoed on me, and then you drew both blanks and you bingoed again, and now you're playing a phony 6. But I just figured he was trying to show off, play some, like, sticky S random 6 that he knows. And I even saw, like, it's a suboptimal end game. He's not going to go out next turn. So, like, what are you doing? Okay, whatever. Play Cluis, fine. Like, I accept, I guess. Whatever, fine. So I let him do it, and it's not a word, and I found out after the game, and I was just so mad about so many things that you can tell why I didn't want to do this video. I just wanted the game to end. I played sit, even though I know I'm not going to go out. And then, oh, Josh could go out. I had a mistrack. That's why I thought he couldn't go out. What did he do? He played YO. And then, because I couldn't go out, so I played Fug, and then he played his D. And, like, that was the end of that game. I mean, I did so many things wrong, but I'm still salty. And I think that's an acceptable way to feel, right? I mean, I played this turn wrong. I may have done this one wrong, I'm not sure. This one was bad. This one was bad. This one I wish I could have back. I'm not going to say it was bad. I think there's many people who would play Vims there, but I wouldn't in most cases. This was, like, friggin' terrible. This was so bad. Like, I did a bunch of things wrong, but it was still annoying, right? Like, okay, you're going to bingo, and then blam, and then, play the phony 6. Like, argh. Anyway, now that I've gotten this game over, maybe I'll want to do more videos. Maybe I'll feel okay because I don't have to do the most annoying game of Scrabble ever. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for your continued patronage. Eventually, you'll see, all 31 games of the Nationals, so we hope. Take care. Adios.